I am. Thanks, Joe. Yeah,
Thank
hello,
you.
everyone. I'm Andrew Dove, a member of the task force. My day job, I'm a professor of sustainable polymer chemistry at the University of Birmingham as well. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the chemicals and plastics roadmap. As Catherine's just pointed out, we've got quite a lot of overlap with the agri-food roadmap, but actually quite a lot of other roadmaps as well, because chemicals and plastics are, pretty much components of every sector. So the way we envisage this really, and what we've limited the definition of what we're focusing on in this roadmap is to think about everything from source through to it going into another sector. And then if it's circularized in that sector, that's the aim. But if it can't be circularized in that sector, what do we do from a chemicals in particular and plastics view at the end of that sector? So just to talk you through the vision, and the vision is really to support the UK chemicals and plastics sectors and how to grow through supporting high-tech innovative businesses, achieving scale concerning technically skilled entrepreneurial workforces alongside secure business partnerships. And there's several areas you can see from the Vision 2050 on the left there that we've been really focusing on, and some of that is around defossilizing chemical manufacturing. So to really focus on three alternative feedstocks of biomass, captured CO2, and recycled waste. Supporting those advanced recycling systems to operate ideally with minimal energy use and maximizing that closed loop efficiency. Ensuring that the chemicals and plastics can be retained through their life cycles, so not losing them, especially not to the environment, and minimizing emissions, hazardous substance use, and especially release, and products and processes that are designed for safety and lower toxicity. Looking at resilient supply chains, shortening the loops, and decoupling from fossil resource feedstocks, whilst maintaining that enhanced economic security and efficiency that will bring. Making sure that where it's appropriate, we're harmonising regulations with major trading partners, such as the EU, that are at the same time as us undergoing their own circular transitions, and to ensure that there's a reduced trading friction for businesses. Focusing on the key data that will be available through the life cycle, so we can promote that growth in circular design, transparency, and informed decision making. So things like digital product passports, and looking into those in more details. And a significant focus on public education and engagement to build a more societal understanding of chemicals and plastics sector, which I think those of us in it would sometimes think could do with a more positive spin for on the for the positive things it brings. So really looking at the focus, I've mentioned the defossilization, so looking at policies and interventions that can accelerate that defossilization, going through advancing circular innovation and how to support particularly the inventive process. A lot of these things can take a long time to go from lab to production, and the costs that are associated with that can take time for translation away from fossil-based resources. How can you shorten those loops of using different inputs into producing a lot of things that we need as chemicals? There's been a big focus on looking at how to encourage investment in recycling infrastructure, and that has particularly focused on plastics packaging tax and EPR, and how that's working with respect to encouraging circular behaviours in those materials. Modernizing, streamlining regulations, where there's a lot going on. We hear a lot about end of waste. I can reassure you, we are talking extensively about end of waste regulation and what needs to be done, what can be done there, as well as other regulatory issues around use of materials that have generated from different sources than we have traditionally made them from. Really concerned about the use of hazardous substances, reducing the use of hazardous substances where possible, and focusing around policies that will aid the support of that, and aligning with safe, sustainable design. type of policies, and then also so that's around the next point as well, around the increasing the sustainability of products. The greenwashing comes around plastics and chemicals has come into our area as an overview and an overarching aspect. It's something that we are looking into ways that we can promote addressing those misleading environmental claims around environmental ability and biodegradability and circularity and things like that, as well as that analysis and data of what's in chemicals, plastics and materials that in part hinders the circularization of some of these feedstocks, making sure that's clear and aligned. And we've also done quite a big piece on skills with education and training, recognizing that this sector needs quite specialist skills and highly trained people to create that innovation and lead these new routes and new products through into market.